As you're talking about your brain and remembering things, I'm also always, I do so much research and my job is having the ability to recall facts and information uh, in a situation where I can't go look in Google and look things up.
Sure.
So I guess just one question for you is, what do you recommend for memory? Like, what do you recommend in terms of supplementation or whatever it is to enhance memory, recall, etc.?
This is awesome. Okay, so in practice for 20 years, I'll tell you, I've used many, many things, tested many things with patients dealing with like memory fog, brain fog, all the way to extreme dementia with late onset Alzheimer's, and then what they call early onset, where you can't remember phone numbers, names, that kind of stuff. I've dealt with all of those, and I have tried many, many things that are published to actually be cures of that, help to improve it. But I will tell you one massive thing that across the board improves memory. In fact, I'll give you two of them. They both come from plants, by the way. Off air, I actually answered one of these with you, but CBD, which are cannabinoids from the marijuana plant. There are many, many companies that sell CBD that has no psychedelic effect in a human. They're just called cannabinoids, and these are extracted from the marijuana plant, and they improve memory and recall. In fact, when I say in practice, I never actually sold a CBD product. Every single person who would come in for all other issues came in after learning that their loved one with early onset Alzheimer's, with dementia included, were actually seeing their, with CBD gummies, seeing their memory improve within 2 weeks. Well, as long as they continue taking it, every cell in your brain has cannabinoid receptors from the marijuana plant. So if you have a problem with cannabis being talked about or marijuana being talked about, you take that up with God at Judgment Day and ask him, why did he create that plant? And then why did he put all of our cells in our brain, nerve cells? Why did he put cannabinoid receptors to receive the nutrient from the marijuana plant to make it work better? You guys can take that up with God. It's not a discussion for man in America or Dr. Ardis in America. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. God created it for that reason. The second thing that I've found, it's called a nootropic. It also comes from a plant. Nootropic is spelled Nootropic. This is actually a scientific term for nerve brain stimulating. It actually improves brain function, which is where your memory is sitting and all your recall. And that is actually nicotine.
Wow.
So if you
So
don't know about
basically,
nicotine,
it's
that comes from the
weed and
tobacco plant.
cigarettes. Not
Yep.
to
So weed
obviously
and
to kind of,
cigarettes.
kind of make fun of it a little bit. I know, you don't go smoke cigarettes, but it's just kind of funny actually, the things that are so demonized in our society. But tobacco, obviously nicotine, which is, and we've done deep dives on nicotine, and I've got a few questions
Sure.
about nicotine, but it's wild actually that that's your answer is nicotine and marijuana extract of, CBD. So with the
Now,
CBD, okay,
and really, I just want to answer this because
yes.
people are going to be freaking out right now when they listen to this. They're going to be like, oh my God, you just gave me two things that have been demonized that I have been programmed to believe are either addictive or life destroying in the case of marijuana, right? It's a gateway drug to all the other drugs. Well, just so y'all know, Harvard proved in 2015 that nicotine's not addictive like you've been told. And marijuana and anything cannabinoid is not addictive whatsoever. And it is not an early gateway drug to nothing unless they want to lie to you and tell you that it's a drug, which they do. So I just want everybody to know out there, it's not as addictive or as deadly or traumatic or cancer causing as you've been lied to believe. And I have to tell you why you believe this and why it is you think this. It stands in the way of every big pharma drug maker from selling you early onset dementia drugs. So as long as you don't know about CBD in the marijuana plant that can be bought online on every Amazon store ever, if you didn't know about that it's available and you don't need a prescription, then you're not going to go to your medical doctor for a prescription. This stands in the way of their selling you what they want you to buy, which is really expensive, not natural, synthetic drugs and vaccines. So get off of it. They don't want you taking anything for Alzheimer's other than what the Alzheimer's Associations of America tell you the drugs that you need to be taking. They don't want you taking this for dementia. They don't want you taking it for nerve stimulation. They'd rather sell you caffeine than they would nicotine. Why? Because caffeine's addictive and nicotine's not. So you're going to have a time with that. I'm wearing a 3.5 milligram nicotine patch every single day. But outside of these two plants, let's give the audience another thing that absolutely works to improve memory that has nothing to do with a controversial weed or a controversial plant. So that substance is called acetylcholine. Acetyl choline, choline. Now, there is a form of acetylcholine which is called a neurotransmitter. Transmitting means sending signals. Neuro means brain. So if you can't remember your loved one's name, you're not having a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine moving up and down your brain cells to get the information to the part of your brain that remembers. Acetylcholine is what is blocked by venoms, blocked by the spike proteins of COVID, blocked by every virus on Earth. And these are all, this acetylcholine transfers from one nerve cell to the other through nicotine receptors. This is why nicotine cured COVID and brain fog within minutes of using it. It released the venoms, then acetylcholine could move between those nerves. Now, I want to tell y'all something. There's a version of choline we have found is very effective, actually, at restoring memory, and it's called CDP choline. CD, dog, Pennsylvania, choline. And you can just look up CDP choline online. You can order other forms of acetylcholine. It doesn't matter. But CDP choline is the one I commonly recommend, and you can buy that on Amazon too and all over the place. You need acetylcholine to produce memory and recall and speaking. You can't do it without it. There's just some real basic examples of companies that have it. And then the next question will be, I promise, from your audiences, well, how much do I take? You take what's on the bottle. It tells you. These guys are smart. They're selling it to you for a reason. They've done their homework, and the FDA tells them what they can and cannot tell you is the recommended dose. And for now, just follow what they say. It's better than doing nothing. You'll see.
There we go. Yeah, so 3 things. So nicotine, CBD, and CDP choline, which we've shared.
Very good.
So you've heard the news. Food factories burned to the ground. Millions of chickens gassed in the name of bird flu. Bill Gates and the CCP buying up farmland like there's no tomorrow. The government is literally paying farmers to slaughter livestock and shut down farms, and bugs are on the menu whether you like it or not. Just think about where this is headed. Henry Kissinger once said, "Who controls the food supply controls the people." And history is full of stories of tyrants using food to break people's will. Now, look, you're watching my show, which means you're probably not the kind of person that'll bow down to tyranny. But how long can you hold out when your kids are hungry or when you're forced to take a jab to eat? Look, I understand you have your own situation and you can only do what you can, but imagine how good you'll feel knowing you've got a couple months of food stashed away for when it all hits the fan. And as the old saying goes, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. But listen, not all storable food is created equal. A lot of the big food bucket companies use cheap fillers to lower the price per calorie. But in fact, it's during those difficult times when medicine's hard to come by, when clean water is hard to find, perhaps when you're struggling to survive, that's when nutrition matters more than ever. So this is why I recommend Heaven's Harvest. They're a Christian, patriot-owned company that has high-quality storable food that will last for up to 25 years. So folks, don't waste another minute. Go to heavensharvest.com, and when you use the promo code Seth, you'll save 15% off your entire order. Again, that's heavensharvest.com and promo code Seth to save 15%. Folks, order now before it's too late.